in terms of cars idling in front of schools, the first thing is around education. And it has to be that way in terms of awareness, but not in terms of the awareness where we kind of knock on a window and hand them a leaflet and that's all we do. I think the awareness has to go twofold. First, we need to make parents aware, you know, either through the schools in terms of telling the teachers and passing this on to the kids, but also really communicating to the parents the danger of their child being next to an idling vehicle. I think once you kind of get that feeling, it's a bit like the dangers of someone smoking next to your child, because they're both group 1 carcinogens. They both increase the risk of cancer. So that's the first thing. We've got to educate the public. The second one then is to actually say, well, what can we do in terms of a deterrent for drivers? At the moment, if someone is idling outside the school, I or you can speak to them, but they don't have to turn their engine off. Only an authorised person from the council can issue them a £20 fine. Some places it's £40, £60. We've heard rumours it might be £80, even £160. But the key thing here is when the authorised person from the council approaches a person, they have to firstly observe them. Yes, I can see they're idling. Then they have to approach them and say, excuse me, can you turn your engine off? Then they have to give them 2 minutes. Some places it's 3 minutes, some places it's 5 minutes to turn their engine off. Now, just to put that into kind of context, which is 1 minute of idling equals about 150 balloons full of toxic air, including things like cyanide. So 5 minutes. Once they've given them that 5 minutes and they walk back up to them, they say, right, I'm now going to click, turn their engines off, or they drive away, and there's no evidence, there's no fine. Even if they do write up the fine and it gets to court, the individual can say, wasn't me, Gov, I did turn off, in which case it's one word against the other. So in Wandsworth, last year, no fines. The year before, no fines. There's never been a fine for idling.
It's not a priority.
It's not a priority for the local council. They don't make any revenue out of it. So in terms of sending someone to a school, they send someone to school, they say, can you switch your engine off? They might do. That person comes back the next day, idles outside the school, there's no council. You have to ring them again, and perhaps they'll come back down. But after a while, they don't want to come down because they're not making their revenue. So it's taking their resources, which they could be using for parking and earning money, and it's using it to do nothing for the council, so to say. Yes, it works for us, works for our children, but the council aren't incentivised to tackle vehicle idling outside schools because there's no revenue in it. So we have to change that. So the simple one is to say, okay, well, we need to change the law. Just a simple tweak, which simply says, every driver caught idling gets information on air pollution, climate change, the impact it's having on their health, the health of their passengers, and the health of children who are near the exhaust pipe, walking past, babies in buggies, being affected by this. They get a warning, about one warning. It says, if you are caught idling again, you're going to get a fine, a substantial fine. Anywhere in, let's say, London. They take the registration details, put it into a database. Anywhere in London, that vehicle idles again and gets seen, they get a fine. They'll still get asked to switch their engine off, they'll still go through the whole process, but a fine is already on the way. They may get a text message within a few minutes saying, you have got a fine for idling at this location at this time. Yep, video evidence. There's absolutely no reason why a council officer can't simply say, well, there's the video evidence. So when it gets to court, it can't be, oh, I did not, evidence is there. Now, we have the technology to do this. It's not that we can't do this, it's just an unwillingness to do it. But let's have a look at this. Suddenly, every single time someone is called out to sort out idling, the council earn money. The council are there, it's video, it's like, is that the first time? No, it's the second time, bang, fine. Council makes £100, £100. Suddenly we'll have council officers So suddenly the council officers can attend, they can see idling, they take the registration number, they can check and say, hang on a second, this person's already been fined, issue. And that person gets an immediate fine for idling. Now suddenly, councils are earning revenue from protecting the public. Councils are earning revenue from tackling idling outside schools. So when someone rings up and says, I've got people idling outside my school, the council get there because they're going to earn revenue. I mean, within a morning, they can earn 5 different fines, and suddenly they've paid for that staff and hundreds of others, you know? So it's a very simple way to say, actually, if we just swing it slightly, actually prioritise the health of our children above the convenience and comfort of vehicle drivers. I know it's a difficult thing. In the UK, we're so car-centric, but just outside schools. I mean, out of everything possible, outside nurseries, outside schools, our babies, our infants, our toddlers, our children. Come on, we can put them first when they're at their place of learning, because if we don't, let's be very clear, the fumes from these vehicles are stunting their brain growth, their lung growth. It is affecting their quality of life and will shorten their life. It affects life expectancy. So to not do this, it's shameful, in my opinion, and in the opinion of most parents. You know, we've got to tackle this and simply say no to idling.
Okay, so just 20 seconds, tell me a message that you want to get across.
Say again. 20
seconds, just tell me a message that you want to get across.
My message to parents would be say no to idling. If you go onto your search engine and type in NO2, nitrogen dioxide, NO2 idling, no to idling, you'll see a campaign. The campaign is to ask Parliament to debate new idling law, to actually prioritise the health of children and our planet above the comfort and convenience of drivers. We must protect our children, particularly outside nurseries and schools, so no to idling.